27? 27? Mike Trout, David Ortiz, Catfish Hunter? Wasn't he on Grumpy Old Men? I don't know. But we're back again, 3 for 3. Teach, coach, the Podfather. Let's do it.
Welcome to 3 for 3 podcast, where we debate everything, discuss everything, and we have 3 big ideas. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Cowboys schedule and how many wins they're going to get. We're going to talk NBA lottery. That's a lottery where some teams win, some teams lose, and we really don't know anything until a couple years in. But first, Coach has a hot take he would like to get off his chest. So you got a question. Go ahead, Coach. Floor is yours, buddy.
So I don't know. It's hard to get into this because of the way I feel about sports. It's helped shape my life, my childhood, watching sports, a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia. But goodness gracious. Part of me being Italian, I have to understand that I know some background things. I'm used to things happening when other people don't know them. So, and as I look at the NBA playoffs and everything that's going on, I want to say that those stuff doesn't happen in the NBA, but it's really, really, really ridiculously hard to watch the Laker-Warriors series and not say that somebody's not above the game pulling some strings. It's really hard. I get that the Lakers shot the most free throws in the NBA. I get the Golden State Warriors shot the least amount of free throws in the NBA. I get there's gonna be a wide margin, but that wide margin was really wide the first game, and then you watch the second game in Golden State, and God forbid there's going to be a sweep. All of a sudden, we're within 2 or 3 free throws of each other. Then I watched the third game. Guess what starts happening? We're in LA. Oh no. Lakers go out to a wide margin. In fact, in the first half, it went down to the final minute. Lakers had 17 free throws. The Warriors had 0. And then I see 2 ticky-tack fouls called on the Lakers because the refs were like, oh, wait a minute, guys. We might get in trouble for this one. And we get a couple points at it. The Lakers still won. The spread was big. And guess what? So let's go to game 4. And guess what? It was a good game. It was a little more even, but leaned towards Los Angeles, setting up the storybook situation. Then we go to game 5 in Golden State. And just like I thought might happen, which is making me think more and more, guess what? The Warriors get away with halfway manslaughter on a couple of the players. I watched Steph Curry hold the ball in the palm of his hand, take 5 steps out of an inbound while the ref's staring at him. That's not
manslaughter. That would be
manslaughter. Here's the manslaughter. I watched Kevon Looney throw somebody to the side and then decide to just elbow check AD in the face for what God known reason. He wasn't going, the ball was in the air. Your hands would go up. No, it went to the side, a straight elbow. He's grabbing his face, and the rest were like, we don't want to review that one. It's getting egregious. It's getting a lot. And then I'm watching the Boston Philly series, and it's going back and forth. And I'm telling you right now, if it's Boston LA in the finals and this stuff keeps happening, it's going to be really hard for you to convince me that somebody isn't up there pulling some strings, because that would be the highest, most viewership rating watched NBA in the last 15 years.
So your statement is the NBA is rigged. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, first of all, can we just clarify some anatomy? All right, the elbow and the back of the wrist or the forearm, 2 different things. Okay. AD getting hit in the head. Come on now.
He did leave in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
manslaughter.
He did. So did Paul Pierce. Okay, that was the most soft Mr. Glass Charmin toilet paper hit. Oh my God! My hair.
Listen. Just because he's a man,
that was ridiculous.
Very sexist of you.
Did you see
Chicken Shack? Woman, you wouldn't be feeling that way.
Did you see?
I would say dying. If we had an 80-year-old woman playing in the NBA, I would say yes, she's flopping just like AD. Okay, I would say get up, grandma, play some defense. That's what I would tell her.
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he got hit harder in the face than Jordan hit Kerr in the face in the 90s. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
No chance.
What about harder to drive out hit Poole?
No, that was he No, Draymond got money's worth. He
Just
got
because
his money's
You
worth.
could tell Draymond's from Michigan State. That's
So
all
can
I'm saying.
can
You
I
could
can I
tell.
rebuttal a few things? Can I just add context to a few things? I don't want to
Please
rebuttal.
just talk some. Listen, Podfather, talk some sense into your friend.
I just want to.
Talk
I
some
just want
sense
to.
into your friend.
Well,
He can't.
you know,
He's a Lakers fan after the King series.
but I do want to add context, right? So we know how easily swayed referees are in the NBA. So Golden State spent before Game 4, and they spent before Game 5 sending tape
And game 1.
and discussing in public to all of the media how the Lakers were flopping and they weren't really fouling and all of this other stuff. And so we saw a loosely called Game 5. But here's what I'm here to tell you. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? I believe that's the best era
Well,
of basketball
You
we've
got
ever
older.
seen.
I don't know that you grew up. You got older.
I got older. I didn't ever grow up, right? And so, but I do believe that the physicality belongs in the playoffs. At this point, it's a man's game. May the best man win. Keep it moving. So while I understand what you're saying, you are a LeBron fan. You're always looking for those angles. But as a Lakers fan in the 80s and the 90s, playing the Pistons, listen, there's room for fouls. AD leaving in a wheelchair. I think they should suspend Looney for at least 2 to 3 games, especially Game 6
Just one.
and Game 7. No, but that's my context. That's where I'm at. I love the physicality of the playoffs. And, the Warriors are, I don't want to say a soft team, but they don't play physical. They don't drive to the basket. They don't protect the rim.
Yeah, they're a jump shooting team. Okay?
Correct.
It's a jump shooting team versus the Lakers going downhill, attacking the basket, and getting free throws that way. However, we'd all be foolish to say we haven't seen this before. Kerr has flat out said, no, we need to be more physical. We need to start driving to the basket. And that's one of the changes that Steph Curry had in his game is finishing at the basket. Also, what you guys are saying is absolutely true. Listen, different officials officiate differently, right?
Yeah.
Scott Foster, Tony Brothers, anytime they're in a game, you're going, we who knows what this is going to turn into.
I don't think Philly's ever won a Scott Foster ref game. I think he was like 1-13 when he ref for Philly, and so
Same
hopefully
with Chris
he's reffing
Paul,
Game 7, right? Yeah, same with Chris Paul.
He's
Chris Paul.
roughing Game 6.
Yeah, I mean,
refs tonight he's in
for the
LA
Lakers. Yeah. So it's my only question would be if it was rigged, because I don't think it's rigged. I don't. I think that's what conspiracy theorists say with their tinfoil hats on in their basement while watching the games and pleading to themselves, "This is why we didn't win." Right? This is the guy at the rec league gym at the YMCA saying, "Man, if it wasn't for Coach, I could have played Division I ball. I could be in the league right now." And you go, "No, never, not at all, man. You're lucky that we pick you running 5-on-5 here."
Right,
So
right.
my question for Coach would be, Giannis is essentially who the league wants to be. I think the face post LeBron. I think it's Giannis. They want Giannis to be that guy. I think the league does. So why would they allow the Heat to beat Giannis in the first round?
Okay, so
I don't think they do. So the question was for Coach. I don't think they do. I don't think they want him to be the guy at all. I think that because he wants to stay in a smaller market, he's been that guy. They might want him to be that guy if he's in a bigger market. Now we're going full tinfoil hat here. He's got to play the conspiracy theories would be play big markets. That's how you become that guy, unless you are that guy.
So
unless
listen,
you're an all-time great.
So
There's no such thing as a small market anymore.
I want to say this really quick because I'm looking at Teach
Social
in
media
this.
has eliminated it.
I'm looking at Teach in this window that I have him on right now, and I'm listening to Coach, and I think that there's room for both because behind Teach, if you look directly behind Teach, there is a map of a flat Earth right there. I can see it. It's flat. That map is flat. It's not round. That is a flat map.
All maps are flat.
So
that's how you make maps.
So
you don't make a round map. That's a globe. All right, brother.
So listen, flat map. I get it. So Teach is over here. conspiring on the flat Earth. I get it. Why not have a globe in your room? I don't
no
know.
such thing as a round map.
Why not have a
It
globe
doesn't
in your
exist, man.
classroom teaching history and
I do.
all that?
I have a globe over there.
What I'm saying is, I see you now just directly promoting flat Earth with that map behind you. I hear Coach promoting NBA rigged. I don't believe either, but I can understand why you guys would, right? And so I think there's room for both. But that's my thought. That's my theory. I don't know. That's me.
So if it's rigged, right? And I think we put this up on TikTok, right? Like what's the best matchup that the NBA wants? I think you're right. I think it's Lakers Celtics. I think they love having that. If they could have that once a decade, that way they could throw all the nostalgia at you, all the history behind it. I think they would.
Yeah,
and you know what would be a great amount of fun for this podcast though? It would be the exact opposite. Philly and Denver go at it.
So
7 games, and we argue every single game.
And that's only because of our belief in Jokic or Embiid, right? And so we argue that point a lot.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Here's what we'll know. The old saying is, what's the root of all evil? What's the root of all evil?
Women.
Money, the love of money, right? And so money, greed.
Yeah. I didn't mean women. I meant money.
Yeah, spelled different. Again,
Happy Mother's Day.
Flat maps in his room. So listen, but what I gotta say is this:
flat maps.
Listen,
guy, man.
Listen,
we gotta.
Sports is a money game too, and so I don't think it's rigged to where they're going to be like, hey, it's got to be a big market team every year. I don't think it's rigged even to the point where they're going to discuss like, hey, this team has to win the series and let's mess with officiating to make it happen. I don't think that exists. It may to a very limited standard, but I understand what Frank's saying. Money rules everything. Boston, LA, what bigger money is there in the NBA right now than that series? Yeah.
If they want to prove me wrong, let the Lakers win. Lakers will win tonight. If they want to prove me right, they'll go on to Golden State for Game 7.
He's throwing all kinds of things out there. Hey, NBA, if you're listening,
I know what you want,
and they are.
I see through you.
I guarantee David Stern's heard this. Why wouldn't he?
He did.
Adam Silver,
right? He's listened to everything. No, David Stern.
David Stern up in heaven.
Yeah,
watching all the games, pulling all the strings.
Not watching this, but David Stern hears it. So listen, I believe the message could get there, Frank.
David Stern might actually be able to hear this. I don't know.
Podfather's on some other stuff. He's like, what is this magical box in which Coach and Teach are talking to me? It's like they're here, but they're not here. Maybe they use their flat maps, not their round or triangle maps, not their sphere maps or their cylinder maps.
When we start episode 20, when we start episode 27, the Mike Trout episode with conspiracy theories, is it a conspiracy that he's better than Big Papi? I don't know. I think he is. Teach may think he is. Yeah,
I think he is. Yeah, I think he is.
I
don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it's.
Right.
I have a conspiracy that's very popular.
What is that?
And both of you guys should know. What is the greatest NBA draft conspiracy theory in the history of time?
Oh.
Ooh. There's a few.
Give you a hint. 1985.
Yeah.
The envelope was frozen or bent.
The
Knicks get Patrick Ewing.
Was it?
I don't think it was. You think it was?
I don't put it past David Stern. That was a shiesty dude.
Listen, can we stop talking about David Stern? We've already mentioned him twice.
Wow. He's the same. He ain't tweeting us back. Don't worry about it.
I loved it. And maybe, hey, guess what? NBA lottery's coming up next week. Okay, it's Tuesday. So we're gonna figure out.
I feel like we have to say this really quick, Teach. I know we joked about David Stern. Great commissioner in the NBA. He brought the NBA to where it is today. Amazing dude. We're just having fun. So listen, anyways, that's all.
He definitely brought the NBA where it was today. Coach, you can't poo-poo that. No.
You cannot.
I give more power to the players, but yeah, he did a good job in helping the players get.
That gave the players that power, yeah.
Without Michael Jordan, it doesn't get there.
Agreed.
I'll say that.
Thank you.
Agree, Podfather.
I can.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I agree
Wow.
100%.
It's Mother's Day weekend. We're about the love here.
Come on, man.
No, never about
Happy
the love.
Mother's Day,
Choose
Coach
chaos
and
every
Cheech.
day.
Happy Mother's Day to you guys.
I didn't do anything.
Women.
I didn't do
Women is the
anything.
root of all evil. That's what you didn't do.
Didn't
That's
do
exactly
anything.
what you did today.
Listen, I will happily call Regina Nelson on Sunday and say, "Hey, you're welcome." Okay, because if not for me, well, you still had 2 other kids, so you still been a mother. But still,
But
okay,
still,
you're welcome.
you'd be mother of
And
one
then
less.
I will say, Dad. All right, now you can pass her the phone. I got that out of my system. Thank you for that.
Good for you.
So my big thing this week is preparing for the NBA lottery. I love drafts, everything draft, NFL draft, NBA draft on a slightly smaller scale, baseball draft, just because it's so long to progress. So I have what teams need to win the NBA lottery or where they need to be. So here are my theories, and then afterwards, I think we can go ahead and talk about at least the top 3 prospects because it's still so early. We're going to have the draft combine coming up. So the highest odds are Houston, Detroit, and San Antonio. Each of them have a 14% shot. That's the highest odds you can get at having the number 1 pick. So my theory, right? This is we'll call it the 3 pyramids. So at the top of the pyramid, you have these teams. Houston has already come out and said we don't want to continue this rebuild. We're full of young players. We need to get to that next level of getting back in contention. They've been rumored to they're going to have a full court press on Harden. They're going to go after Jaylen Brown. They're going to go after Chris Middleton, right? So I'm not saying that they don't need the number 1 pick. Everybody needs the number 1 pick, but they have a solid young core. Okay, they could use Victor Wembanyama, absolutely, but I think the direction that the franchise is going is different. Detroit, I think that's kind of like Houston too. I think they're probably closer than Houston to making the playoffs. But their big thing was going out and getting James Wiseman, using their draft capital last year. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, they look really good. Jalen Duran stole him from the Knicks. Then we go into the best place where I think Wembanyama can go, and that's San Antonio. The dreaded Spurs that Podfather hated in the 2000s. There is no face to that franchise. Well, it does have a face. It
It's
just
Pop.
happens to be Pop's face.
Yeah.
It's Pop's face. Who Greg Popovich still knows how to treat young players. So out of that highest odds tier, fellas, am I wrong in thinking San Antonio, that's the best place for Victor Wembanyama?
Yes, you're wrong.
Who do you think it is?
Okay, so love Pop and all his victories and everything he's done. I don't trust him to coach anymore. It just is what it is. The last 10 years, ever since Kawhi left, and listen, how many seasons has he done really well without Tim Duncan? Just is what it is.
I think that's 2 different conversations. We're talking about developing young players.
Wait. Well, this is what's coming when I'm talking about developing whatever. If you listen to nightmare stories of like Steven Jackson, DeMar DeRozan, people go there and yeah, they play, but like it just seems like they're stymied there. Like it's just not a good. They just don't love playing for Popovich. Like
Veteran players.
I think it's the Belichick system, though. I think it's about the system, and it's not about the player, which I think is good for winning, bad for the player. Keep going.
And that's
You're
my
good.
point. Like, so when I'm saying best fit, in the other places they want to win now. I don't know how Victor Wembanyama doesn't make you win better now. I don't know how Houston it would not be a good fit for him. The only way it wouldn't be a good fit is they didn't have a good coach, but they've made a change. Indiana, you said Indiana, right?
No,
Detroit,
I said Detroit.
Houston.
Detroit is a wild card. Detroit, who knows with Detroit? But I will say, I feel the same about Detroit that I do about San Antonio. They're about even. I would give the edge to Houston as the best spot, but that's just what I would agree.
The only pushback I'll give is San Antonio has done a better job developing players than Detroit or Houston. Say which one. DeJounte Murray became a star in San Antonio. Devin Vassell has had a solid young career, and Keldon Johnson has become a budding young star of the league. And these are all players that we saw come in fairly raw and have turned into essential pieces. Now, I'm not saying that the best place for Victor. I'm saying what team needs him the most? I think San Antonio does. They have no identity other than Pop.
I don't know. You said best fit or needs him the most. Those are two different
No,
stories.
which again, the question is what team needs the number one pick to establish some kind of identity? Now I have three more.
I think
towards that, but more.
so. I
You want to
I want
Go
to bring
ahead,
it down
Papa.
like this. Here's what I think what we're not mentioning, and I think it's super important when you're looking at bringing in somebody with as much hype as Victor Wembanyama, right? The culture and atmosphere that he is brought into is going to matter more than anything. So I want to look at this. Okay. We all know San Antonio has Pop as their coach, and we know the culture, we know the atmosphere, we know what that franchise is about, right? Ownership down. Houston Rockets just brought in Udoka, right? So I think Udoka was a budding young coach. I think he was a superstar in the making. I think he's going to come back with something, something to prove again. And so I'm really excited to see what happens in Houston. But it's the Udoka show right now. That's been their biggest news, right? Detroit. Who's the coach for Detroit?
Do you trust
Dwayne Casey.
Fertitta? Wait, this on Houston. Do you trust Fertitta as an owner? Because to me, he's such a wild card.
I don't think I do. Because you don't see what we haven't seen is even with the young talent that Houston's had on the roster the last couple of years, is them bringing anything supportive in. And so to me, that's alarming when you look at your roster, what that looks like. I think they traded away some good pieces. They've gotten some. It's not where you would want to be as a franchise with a good owner, right? Detroit, Cade Cunningham, Ivy, Dwayne Casey, who is underrated as an NBA basketball coach, underrated as a culture setter. Oh, yeah, that's right. He got fired. Yeah,
got fired.
Who's the coach in Detroit now?
Nobody right now. Maybe it's JJ Redick. I don't know. He's getting interviews for Toronto. So Nick Nurse.
Man, that would be great.
I know.
Steven Silas was rumored to Detroit. It's in flux.
So back to that. Great news. I totally forgot about Dwayne Casey being fired. So here's what I'll say. Due to what it's like coming in with somebody with that much on their shoulders, as Victor Wembanyama is going to have, he needs to be in a place that's going to be safe for him, and that's going to be in San Antonio. It's not going to be anywhere else. And I think San Antonio needs him more than any other roster.
So the next tier, all right, and this is where I think there's one team that's going to stand out to coach of saying, hey, get him there. Charlotte has a 12.5% chance of getting the number one pick. They could pair Wembanyama with LaMelo Ball. Portland has a 10.5% chance of getting the pick. I don't like that fit at all. I don't know what they're doing there. They have good young pieces. They have Dame. They're wasting Dame. What's going to happen? And Orlando at 9%. If they get the first pick, that's where I think things get interesting. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It'll be rigged.
Orlando is weird, and Orlando's the AAA farm system. They're like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They're like the Oakland Athletics. That's who gives the NBA players. I don't really love him there. I honestly want to see Charlotte win some. I'm tired of Charlotte not winning, and I would love for Charlotte to get him, and I'd love to go watch a game because the Beehive is happening down there. I drove 3.5 hours and I fell in love. And if they actually had a decent team, I might actually root for them after LeBron retires. But good Jesus Lord, can we have 2 winning seasons? I'm not asking for an arm and a leg. I just want 2 consecutive above 500 seasons. That's all I'm asking for. Since Jordan's gone, they might have a possible chance of actually putting together some things.
That's so true.
We'll see what happens. I mean,
best player ever. Horrible owner.
I don't think you're wrong. I think Charlotte's fun. I don't think Orlando would use that pick. And I mean, as much as we joke about Orlando being the farm system for everybody else, they have a top 10 duo of players in Wagner and Banchero. It's for them being 19 and 20 years old, NBA, your prime doesn't start till you're 26, 27 or year 7 in the league. So that's fun. The last one, the group of 2, which I call unlikely but fun, is Indiana, 6.7%, and Dallas at 3%. Now, again, this is everything to do with fit. No, it has nothing to do with my affection for one Luka Doncic. But yeah, I'd love to see the European connection. Go ahead.
Did
Slovenia to France for the gold medal.
Back up. Ooh, I can't
Listen,
even care about this right
tanked.
now.
They tanked
Did you
in
call?
order to keep their pick.
Did you call Pablo and Mo Wagner a top 10 duo in the NBA?
Top 10 young duo in the NBA. Absolutely.
There's not many top 10 young duos in the NBA. There might be 10. So
yeah. But I don't think you said top 10 young duos. You said top 10 duo in the NBA.
You might have said young. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
No, you didn't say young because I've been stuck on this for the last 10 minutes.
Did you call him Pablo and not Paulo?
Yeah, Pablo.
Escobar.
Okay.
Pablo.
All right then.
It's
All right,
Pablo to you guys.
In a flat map. Let me tell you, it's a spherical map.
It's Pablo and Wagner. Okay.
Yeah, it's this Franz Wagner guy and this Banchero. What is that? One of the 3 Caballeros. Isn't that a good movie?
It's Banchero.
So I just think Halliburton and Luka have a similar skill set when it comes to passing the ball. This could be a weird draft where one of these lower teams, Dallas tanked for the last week of the season at least, the last 3 or 4 games to keep that 10th pick, so it had a less chance to convey to the Knicks. It would be so freaking weird if they ended up getting the number 1 pick or a top 3 pick.
I think he'd be a better fit in Indiana.
I like him in Indiana where there's less expectations.
Man, what do you
in
do?
Dallas where we're in win mode.
And then they got to figure out what to do with Miles Turner. Send him on to LA.
No, I think
we get Ayton.
Turner. I think Turner and Wemby can play together. I think, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, kind of what their skill set is. It's 2 very different skill sets. I think they need another big man in Indiana.
Yeah, Turner's big man strong. He's strong.
Yeah. And he is underrated. He got a little 3-ball happy this year, but he is underrated and he stays in NBA rumors, trade rumors.
I think he's properly. He's rated.
Properly rated. Maybe he might be properly rated.
He might be worth a second round or 2. That's about it.
So the 3 biggest prizes that we're talking about, that 3 of these teams are going to come away with: Victor Wembanyama, center. I have 3 different versions. I have their ceiling, so what they could be if they meet their whole potential. I have their floor, which is, hey, this is worst case scenario, and Coach loves this. I have the table, which sits halfway between the floor and the ceiling, and it's where these players eat. So,
and that's where most players eat. Remember that. Most people eat at a table.
That is most people eat at a table. Okay.
Yeah.
Coach is looking like, nah, I got a shelf right below my neck, baby. That's where I'm keeping my food.
I'm trying to figure this out. I'm still like, what culture doesn't eat at a table? I'm figuring that one out.
Let us know in the comments what culture doesn't eat at a table. I'll use the map, which happens to be flat.
The flat map.
So Wembanyama, I have his ceiling as a taller Kevin Durant. And again, that's if everything works out perfectly. I think he could be a taller version of Kevin Durant, able to get his shot off against everyone and everyone. I think the floor is Andrea Bargnani, Coach's Italian brethren. The first pick. He was though.
No, he could fall slower than that, in my opinion. Keep going.
Yeah, okay. So I think it's at worst, Wembanyama becomes this tall shooter who plays in the league for 10, 15 years. I think the table, kind of where he's most likely end up is, I think, a slightly better version of Kristaps Porzingis, a less injured version of Kristaps Porzingis. Again, his defense is probably better than Porzingis's defense. His shooting stroke is not as good, but I can see it getting there based off his free throw percentage, which is the best indicator to, hey, can a guy develop a shot? So that's what I have there. You guys, thoughts on my Wembanyama breakdown?
Probably, I'll go first if you don't want to.
Yeah, you
I'll
can
be
go.
the bid for one of them. So I want to
Go.
rename the floor to "Don't you ever put don't listen." There's not a lot of Italian guys in the NBA. Don't you ever make him your floor again. All right, well, just show some love.
Plus,
for the
you
Italians.
look more
Sorry,
like
sorry.
Hito Turkoglu.
Pablo Pergioni.
Well, honestly, let's be real honest. You said you said Bargnani played a lot. He'd be more like my honestly opinion. He could be a skinnier, worse Greg Oden. Like that's like he could be injured that much.
The game's not the same though. I'm going based off game style.
I don't care about the game style. I'm worried about length of career, like 3 years max, and that's because they gave him 2 sympathy years, like a contract.
Nobody accused Zion of being Greg Oden. I have to go based on game style. Nobody can predict. Nobody can predict injuries, so I'm not going to either. I'm just saying game style.
That's what
I think we all predicted Chet Holmgren's injury.
Yeah, we did. We could have called that 10 miles away, and he's skinnier and lengthier than him.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
They're gonna grow man.
I'm just saying.
You don't think Draymond's not rolling his ankles? You're crazy.
You know how long his shins are? Do you know how long his shins are?
My body. I mean, I'm a short, stubby dude. They're longer than me.
We're gonna know after the combine. Hey, shin measurements. What's the Vegas odds on shin measurements?
What's the over under?
That guy's ankles 3 times longer than yours. He's got a lot to roll. Yeah.
All right. So my number 2 prospect. Podfather's gonna love this. I have Brandon Miller, Arkansas, the wing out of Arkansas. So again, his best asset is probably his versatility, being able to distribute a little bit. Nobody's going to confuse him with a point guard, but he can move the ball well. He can play positions 1 through 4. If you go super tall like Orlando does, he can play a little bit of point guard. Biggest concern is he lacks strength getting to the rim. He's not gonna go downhill and attack the rim like Darvin Ham wants the Lakers to. So his ceiling is Paul George. Okay, his play style, Paul George, being an impact 2-way player. His floor is Dylan Brooks, being a guy who goes out there and Dylan Brooks won. He was second team All NBA defense. Yeah. So maybe the table where I think he could most likely land is Andrew Wiggins. I think that's the style of game he plays. He's gonna be a jump shooter for the first couple years of his career. So that's what you think, fellas. What do you think of those breakdowns?
I think there's not a lot of difference between Andrew Wiggins and Dylan Brooks.
What?
I think there's not a lot of difference between Andrew Wiggins and Dylan Brooks.
Coach.
You think they're the same player?
I don't think there's that much difference to be that off. You went
wow.
to Paul George is like 10 miles up. Paul George pre-injury was top 15 player of all time. He could have ended up there. We're using Dylan Brooks and then Andrew Wiggins, which won 1 All-Star. He's a one-time All-Star. He's the 5th best player on a championship team. I mean,
he was the second best player in that series, was he not?
A series. He's the 5th best player on the team. 4th best player. 4th best player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
Could be 5. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the 5th best player on the team.
But you have Poole ahead of him?
Yeah, that was 4th or 5th. That's what we argue. Poole or him.
Okay.
It's kind of right there. Granted, Poole's having a horrible playoffs right now.
Yeah, so that doesn't. Yeah, so obviously it's an outlier.
I could say Poole and Wiggins had the same amount of upcoming last year, and Poole's so much younger. So my point is Wiggins and Dylan Brooks, they're not that far off. I mean, they're second team all defense, 1-time All-Star. It's a nod for both ways. It's the same thing.
Okay, so eye test. Give me Wiggins every day over Dylan Brooks, and it's not even close. Now, I don't think Wiggins is like the Paul George, but I think he's somewhere in the middle. He's the table, right? And so, um, I think Dylan Brooks' ceiling is Andrew Wiggins, right? And so, I can see how they mesh. But yeah, no, Brandon Miller definitely more NBA ready. I think he's got a taller body set, 6'9", longer wingspan. Not a great jumper, decent jumper, but he can do a little bit of everything. And so I had him as my number 2. I really thought you were going to go Scoot, but you didn't. So good deal.
So having gone back to rewatch, because again, lottery draft, I love it. So I'll go back and rewatch the showcase tapes. I'll rewatch the highlight tapes. I'll rewatch the low light tapes. It's great seeing people put those together and go, look at this series, what they did in this 5 or 6 set series of the games that they were playing. And you're going, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. He's going to get eaten up that way. So that brings me to Scoot Henderson, my third best. And I do think this is a 3-person draft. I think there's a clear number 1. I think there's a number 2, number 3. And then there's kind of this group of 5 players that are 4 through. The 4th through the rest of the lottery is going to be just depends on what your flavor. So
and I really think Henderson 12 through 20 is the same thing.
Yeah, I do think that third. I think it's actually more like 12 through 16, and then it's everybody else. So Scoot Henderson, best asset, physicality. The dude's a man. He's in a man's body. He's a dude. He's a bro. Okay. And his finishing ability. His finishing ability is fantastic. He will dunk on everybody's head. Biggest concern, his height, him only being 6'2". And it's funny because you hear scouts talk and they're like, yeah, he's 6'2", but he's a small 6'2".
He is. You're going very low wingspan.
That's interesting.
Plays very low to the ground. He is a very small 6'2".
And if he was a shooting guard like Desmond Bane, 6'6", but 6'4" wingspan, wouldn't matter as much because he has quick release. And then his shot selection is horrible. It's not so much that he has a broken shot, because I don't think he has a broken shot. It's his shot selection and basketball intelligence when it comes to where am I pulling up from, when am I pulling up. That's a problem. That's an issue.
Dude can't shoot.
I think, again, based on I think it was his high school free throw percentage is what I was looking at. I don't think it won't develop, but right now I think he's 28% from 3. I mean, it's bad. 27% from 3. It's bad. So ceiling, table, floor. Ceiling, Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose had shooting troubles, both at Memphis and when he came into the league. But the fact that he could get to the rim on anybody, he had a quick first step. If he put you on his hip, then he was scoring on you, right? If we're even, he's leaving. The floor is Marcus Smart. I think worst case scenario, Scoot Henderson can defend and he can play point guard and be maybe the 3rd best player on a championship team. I think he can do that. The table's going to be, it's a little older, Baron Davis. Baron Davis used his physicality. He was able to get his shots off. He wasn't the shooter that everybody thinks Baron Davis was. Looking back and watching other stuff, Baron Davis shot okay. He developed a 3-point shot late in his career.
Golden State Baron Davis or Charlotte Baron Davis?
This is early Baron Davis.
Okay.
That's what I think his table is, where he's a scorer first, a shooter second. So again, that's where I have Scoot, which again, Baron Davis isn't no slouch. So
no, love Baron Davis, but I think this one you got the most wrong. I think as a ceiling is Derrick Rose. I never see Scoot Henderson being Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose had a jump shot, a teardrop, could get to the rim on anybody. His dribble was incredible. Derrick Rose was the youngest MVP of the NBA ever, right? And so I don't think Scoot can be that. When I look at
Scoot has a jump shot. He just doesn't shoot the 3 ball well.
Nah, he doesn't shoot well at all. His touch is horrible.
No. Okay, yeah. From the seven YouTube videos you've watched, what were we talking about, man?
It was actually like 8 or 9 of them, and one of them was a 4-minute clip. One of them was a 4-minute clip, which really equals like 2 or 3, right? And so
don't reduce 2 weeks of work into your 3 videos that you watch. Get out of here.
I can only go off what I know. What I know
okay.
is dude can't shoot, right? And so
Okay.
no, but and a floor of who? Marcus Smart?
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year? Marcus
Yeah.
Smart? 6'4", long wingspan, developed a 3-point shot? Marcus Smart?
Yeah, Marcus Smart coming out of Oklahoma State was not the Marcus Smart that won.
If you
Player
think
of the
his
Year.
floor, if you think his floor is Marcus Smart, he should be the number 1 draft pick in the draft.
That's my agreement. That's my grievance with the situation.
Is Marcus Smart a top 50 player in the NBA right now?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be interested in to see your list.
Well,
I would be
I can
very
do it.
interested.
Question.
I can do it
got a
right
question.
now.
I got a question. Hold on.
Please
hold
do
on.
it tonight and send it to me.
Let me. I got a question for this 3. Just to hammer point. So who is the ceiling?
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose, MVP.
Yes.
Started off fast. Possibly could have been one of the greatest players ever if he didn't get injured.
Absolutely. Shouldn't have won MVP over LeBron that year, but okay.
It shouldn't have. It was a Steve Nash MVP award.
It was. Middle ground was Baron Davis.
Correct.
Right. So and the floor was Marcus Smart. Baron
Yes.
Davis is BD is tough.
Yeah.
You know who's not better than BD? Andrew Wiggins. So if his table is Baron Davis, don't tell me the number 2 pick is going to be better. If his floor is Marcus Smart, don't tell me the number 3 pick is going to be. I can't agree with you there. I
can
can't
eat
do
this
it.
one up too.
You better
I
go
think
ahead and
Coach is
pick
right.
picks.
Yeah, I think Coach is right. Teach. I think this one we could beat you up on. Not, but it's yours. You own it well. You do it well. I love this for you. I think this is a good place for you to be. And so
I can't wait for this list, for this top 50. If this list is anything like the rest of our communication, it's going to be saying, "Hey, where's that list?" And you're like, "Nothing." But then I'll get a, "Hey, Lakers look really good this quarter." Wait, yeah, but what about that list? AD, man, he's really got to. That's what it's going to be right there.
But
I spit water all over my floor.
as long as Marcus Smart's in my,
floor.
as long as Marcus Smart's in my,
whatever, he'll clean
as
it up.
long as Marcus Smart's in my top 100, we have a consensus. That was the deal, right?
No, top 50.
Top 50 today.
I'm telling you, you're
Only
gonna
top 50.
You're gonna get this list. You're gonna put him
Probably
like
not,
he's
but he could be top
he's
50.
50th right there. I have Tyrese Halliburton forward for Indiana Pacers.
So
At
here's the
51, I got Marcus Smart.
All right, so Coach, here's the problem: 32 teams in the NBA, correct? Each
30
team,
teams in the NBA.
30
Jesus,
teams.
flat
All right,
maps. 30 teams. Yes,
listen. Here's my math.
Marcus Smart is a top
Here's my math.
in the Shanghai
30
team.
30 teams in the NBA. I guarantee we can find a better player on each team than Marcus Smart. So automatically he's 31.
That's two different questions.
No, hold on. I'm trying to get to 50. All right. So
Who's the
automatically,
best player in Houston?
Jalen Green.
Is he better than Marcus Smart to you?
No, Marcus Smart's better.
No, I think Jalen Green's better, but that's me. But
So he's in your top 50 now.
no, because no, I'm saying
Put that on TikTok. Put that on TikTok.
you automatically start. You automatically start with Marcus Smart at least 31, because there's one person better on every NBA team, and on most NBA teams, there's 2 people better, like AD and LeBron. Maybe Austin Reeves. I'm not real sure, but maybe Austin Reeves. And so
we get all kinds of names wrong here. Austin Reeves, Darrell's brother. He plays safety for the Cowboys, which brings us to our next segment. Okay, can we just wrap this up? Because this
we
is,
go, yeah, so we can go from
speaking of Reeveses.
Yeah, so we can go from talking about DeMarcus Russell in LA to DeMarcus Lawrence in Dallas, right? And so I love this for us. Here's what I want to talk about, guys. Here's my thing. First of all, I loved both of your topics. I think they were entertaining. They were really good. This one, I want you to bite on. The NFL released its 2023/24 schedule last night at 8 p.m. Did you love it? I loved it because when they release the schedule, they're that much closer to playing the actual games. That's what I
They
want to
didn't
talk.
really release it at 8 p.m. Everything was getting leaked. Like Shams
Everything
was
got
on
leaked.
it. Everybody, everything got leaked. There were
I think
people on social media where there was.
I
I was
think I
waiting
knew.
for Coach to tell me the schedules.
Yeah, I think I knew the Dallas Cowboys schedule at like 1:00. So 1 p.m. I think right after lunch. But here's what I want to discuss today. Here's the question I want to ask you. So I've put a list together of my top 10 games for the NFL season that I think are must watch. And then what I have is I want you guys to help me predict the Dallas Cowboys record based on their schedule. Can we do that?
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to first start with my top 10 games on the NFL this season that I think are must watch. At number 10, I have the Thanksgiving Day game of the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. Because who doesn't love watching Cowboy football and eating turkey legs on Thanksgiving Day? Must watch. But I got that at 10. Okay. Number 10. These aren't up for discussion. Just watch them after I tell you about them. Number 9, I have the Houston Texans week 8 versus the Carolina Panthers. We're talking the two new quarterbacks. By week 8, they should both be starting, right? Anthony Richardson's going to start. Bryce Young's going to start. No.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud's going to start. Bryce Young's going to start. We're going to be there. And I think this is going to be marquee because who do we think is going to have the better career? 3 months ago, Coach said it was going to be CJ Stroud, and it wasn't even close. But then he dumbed it up by taking that test. And so now everybody thinks Bryce Young's going to be the better player. So we're going to find out week 8 who's going to be better, right? So I'm really intrigued about that matchup. Let's go to the Battle of New York. The Battle of New York. The New York Jets and the New York Giants, week 8. I'm so excited to
battle for where?
New Jersey. So listen.
Thank you.
The battle for New Jersey. These are the boys that ski in their jeans if none of you know about it, okay? The battle for New Jersey. You got the Giants and the Jets. I'm excited to see it. It's been a long time since one of those games were intriguing. And so I'm really excited to see it. Plus, I love anytime the Giants can lose because the Jets will win. Sorry, Teach, but I like that. Here's the next one I got. Who doesn't love Thanksgiving Day, Green Bay, Detroit? We'll see a little Jordan Love. We'll see a couple new draft picks in Detroit. I love it. You got to keep Thanksgiving Day marquee. You got to watch them. Who's not going to watch every game on Thanksgiving? Raise your hand if you're not going to watch it.
Coach is going to be cooking, so.
Yeah, he's going to be cooking up that football. Cooking up that
football. He'll be on in the background. He'll be on in the background, but he'll be cooking, guaranteed.
The next game I have, week 9, a rematch of the DeMar game. Buffalo Bills at Cincinnati. Week 9. Excited to see that. Don't know what would have happened last year. I think Cincinnati would have ran away with that game. I may be wrong. Joe Burrow's the better quarterback. We'll see. We're going to see again week 9. Okay? Week 9.
I'm just glad you got his name right.
Joey Burrows? So listen.
Yeah.
And I think he's playing that Josh Smith guy. So listen, number 4. Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys. This counts for 2 because we're going to talk about week 9 and week 14. Both of those are must-watch games for both of you. You have to watch the entirety of the game. Okay, so trust me, you're not going to want to miss Dak Prescott eating up that Philadelphia Eagle defense. Okay? Love that.
Go Bulldogs. Go Bulldogs.
Let's get down to our top 3. Top 3 games. Week 13, San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't care who's throwing the ball in San Francisco. By week 13, it may be Tom Brady. Okay?
Tommy boy.
It could be Tommy Boy by week 13. That's an exciting matchup. Gonna be could be a preview of a playoff matchup again if either one of them get past Dallas. So we'll be excited to see this, right? Number 2, week 17. If the cards fall right. Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs. What are they going to be playing for in week 17? We don't know yet. But you need to put it on
possible
your calendar.
number 1 seed.
possible number 1 seed. It's a good place to have a game like that. I love that a couple of years ago, the NFL started putting better games toward the end of the year and making it a thing that they did, rigging it up like that, just to use a coach term, rigging it up like that. So I love that. Number 1, the most exciting game for me, I love when the Philadelphia Eagles take an L, and they're going to take an L in week 11 to your boy, coach, Patrick Mahomes, and when they travel to Kansas City and play them Chiefs. And so that's my top NFL games of the year. Mark them down, write them down, put it on paper. You're going to want to see this. Let's move on. Any game that you guys would have said was the top game that you would have wanted to see?
I can tell you what I don't want to see. Everybody is always intrigued by the number 1 versus number 2 quarterback pick. It's never an intriguing game that I want to watch, though.
You watch it because you're a fan of the sport.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, Washington and Dallas, it's a Thanksgiving tradition, but it doesn't mean that it's the most intriguing game. I'll take 25 other games over that. The other Thanksgiving game, there's no way I'm taking that either. The Jets and the Giants, I could care less. I really, honest to God, don't really care at all. I want to see other games. Philly, you said Philly and San Fran for one of them. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Who knows what San Francisco's going to show up with?
All right, Teach, go ahead and give me your piece. We got to move away from him. Your thoughts on my marquee matchups?
Man, I disagree completely with Coach because I'm so invested into these draft prospects that I am intrigued by CJ Stroud versus Bryce Young. No, it's not going to mean anything in 15 years, but right now, to me, I want to see it play out on the field. If I could pick any non-Buffalo Bills game, because I think that's where we're going, it's probably Dallas, Washington on Thanksgiving. And it's probably because I know I'm going to be hearing a lot from the Podfather while also hanging out with Coach. So it's going to be it's going to be an unscheduled meeting for the 3 for 3 podcast. So I'm very excited for that.
Coach being a Commanders fan,
can't go wrong on Thanksgiving.
it's going to be fun.
Not at all.
And so let's move on.
I'll tell you, I don't even know if I consider myself an NFL fan anymore. That's what it is.
Whoa. Let's get something straight. Podfather, his second favorite team is the Commanders. We have textual evidence because Magic Johnson's group just came through, finalized the deal for the Washington Commanders. So it's win-win for you, Podfather.
But I have a vendetta against Magic Johnson for what he did to the Lonzo Ball team and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know we're going to have to revisit that conversation. We'll follow up on it for sure. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down the Dallas Cowboys schedule, and I'm going to give you guys whether I think it's going to be a win or a loss, and then you guys are going to do it silently in your head or write it down on paper, your win-loss, and then we'll compare win-loss records at the end. Are you guys good with that? You got your pen and paper?
Yeah.
Coach, you got a pen and paper?
I got my.
We're good.
All right. Week 1, Cowboys at Giants. I'm going Cowboys with a W. We're 1-0. Week 2, the Jets come to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys with a W. We're 2-0. Put our stamp on New Jersey. All right. Week 3, Cowboys at Cardinals. Cowboys win. Make us 3-0. Week 4, Patriots at Cowboys. Cowboys win. We're now 4-0. Week 5, Cowboys at San Francisco. We take our first loss. We're 4-1. Week 6, Cowboys at Chargers. We win that game. We're 5-1. It's like a home game for Dallas in LA. Okay, next week, Rams at Cowboys. We win that game. We're 6-1. Cowboys visit the Eagles. We're 6-2. The Giants come to Dallas. We win that game. We're 7-2. Cowboys at Carolina. We win that game. We're 8-2. Thanksgiving game. Commanders at Cowboys. We win that game. We're 9-2. Seahawks come to Dallas. We win that game. We're 10-2. Eagles come to Dallas. We win that game. We're 11-2. Cowboys go to Buffalo the week before Christmas. We lose that game. We're 11-3. A rematch of the 1990s Leon Lett blocked field goal. Cowboys go to Miami. Christmas Eve night. We win that game. We're 12-3. Lions go to Cowboys. We win that game. 13-3. Cowboys at Washington. We lose that game because we've already won it all. We're 13-4. That's what I have for the Dallas Cowboys. Weeks 1 through 18. We finish potentially 13-4 to win the division and the NFC. What are your thoughts? We'll start with you, Coach. Cowboys win.
I got you guys at 9 and 8, and that's in it. It could be 10-7. It could be 8-9.
Pick one. Make a prediction.
I'll go 9-8.
You have the Cowboys at 9-8. Wow, Commander man.
I got you starting off 2-4 for the first 6 games.
Wow. All right, Teach.
You guys don't think Dak? When's the last time Dak Prescott's played 17 games in a row?
He usually plays the early ones, though, right?
No, he usually gets hurt at the beginning part of the season. He'll get hot at the end.
Man.
I
have them 11-6 with losses at the Chargers. Both Eagles games, I think they lose. The one in Buffalo, the one in Miami, and Detroit. I think those are the only games they lose. So I have them 11-6.
11-6 isn't bad.
Probably either the first, either depending on what Philadelphia does with everybody else, either winning that division or being the first wild card, which might set up better for them anyway.
That's true. It could.
My real games of question was the Chargers, the Lions. There was another one that I was like, you were like stone cold, like, yeah. Oh, Miami. Going to Miami. Those were my 3 games of question. They're not stone cold locks. You flip them 3 games around, and that's where kind of my questions were.
Well, I look at a game like Miami. Their whole thing's going to be short passing. I think we have the bodies on the back end with Trevon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore to now eliminate a lot of what they do, running over the middle, that kind of stuff. Donovan Wilson in the middle too. Leighton Vander Esch. I love our draft pick linebacker, and so I think we set up well for that kind of matchup. That's where I took it. So,
I think the biggest thing is going to be Mike McCarthy, again coming off 2 12-win seasons. But there's still a lack of, I don't know, trust, confidence in him. I mean, if 10, you go on a scale of 1 to 10. If 10, it's he's our guy. We hope he never leaves. I love this guy. I'm going to name my dog after him. And 1 is get him out of here. I will drive him to the airport myself. What's your level of confidence with Mike McCarthy right now, Podfather?
I'm probably sitting at a 5 because he's taken over play calling this year. Yeah,
that's where I think I can see it happening the way Coach is describing. So I think it's, hey, what do you know? We have ceiling, what Podfather thinks, floor, what Coach thinks,
and the table.
Well,
we are
Teach
3
is
for
just
3.
sitting at the table eating.
We are
3 for 3. Let us know in the comments. Let everybody know what you think Dallas is going to go, or what your team is, and where you think they're going to end up after looking at the schedule. Fellas, anything else you want to get off your chest?
Yeah. I got one more thing, more fast. The lead-in, you said DeMarcus Lawrence for Dallas and DeMarcus Russell. I think you meant D'Angelo. That was in the middle of all your flow. You messed up like 8 times in a row, so I wasn't going to call you out. But before the podcast ended, I couldn't let that one go.
Yeah,
So
so all
DeMarcus Russell is going to play point guard tonight for Game 6.
and
Good
again,
luck.
all of those were on purpose to make fun of Coach for always making up words. No big deal. But listen, so
yeah, right.
here's what I do want to. Here's what I think would be fun. If when you leave a comment on my Dallas Cowboys record, and you put where you think they're going to go, realistically, not like jokingly, right? And then you leave your team and what you think they're going to go. We at 3 for 3 will then put our prediction in for your team, and we'll have to check it out as the year goes around. I think that could be fun.
I think the Mike McCarthy confidence meter is going to be week to week too. I think that's what we gotta. What DEF CON is Podfather at? Is he throwing
guys
something
know-
at the TV?
I live my NFL season in hills and valleys, bro. Hills and valleys.
There's going to be two parts to the season that happens. Dallas is going to be he's going to say Dallas is going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's also going to say we're going to fire the head coach.
Fire
Two things
everybody.
happen every season,
Fire everybody.
every time. Trade back.
To quote Podfather, I'm gonna play Madden right now, firing everybody, trading everybody. I'm out of here.
You
It's
can't
so
blame
true.
it no more on Zeke. That's all I'm saying. You can't
It's so
blame
true.
Zeke no more. Can't do it.
Well, for Coach Frank LaFada, he who does nothing but win games and coach pitch. He strikes out little kids, but not on purpose. He's trying to get them hits.
I know.
For Podfather, the man who's playing Madden right now, he's drafted Bijan Robinson instead of Mozzie Smith probably to restock that backfield. And for Paul Teach Nelson, wishing all our Cumberland graduates a fond farewell today.
Yes.
We are 3 for 3 podcast. We'll see you guys later.